Hey guys, it is Marie and Andrew, and we are back for the third part in our 5-part series on blogging. So today, number three. Today we are going to talk about one-sided relationships and building one-sided relationships with blogs. Now, I remember actually, well, I do it all the time in lots of trainings that we do with our students and clients and things like that. I always talk about this one-sided relationship and how when you have a voice online, as I like to call it, which is your blog, your platform online, people can go there and really start people can go there and really start to get to know.
I was just winking at one of our audience members. I'm making a one-sided relationship.
Okay. Well, perfect.
We'll get
perfect
to that in a bit.
So what I was saying is that people go to your blog and they start to really get to know about you without the pressure. And when I say without the pressure, if you're building a company, you know what it's like to get on the phone. Maybe a prospect has called you, which is obviously the way to go. We really believe in lead generation and prospects calling you versus you calling them. So a prospect has called you in our case, and for example, they want to know a little bit more about us, a little bit more about the business. Part of what we always do is we send them back to our website or we send them back to our blog. And on our blog, obviously, we've put these things there for them to get to really know us. There's stuff about our, like our life, our lifestyle, what we do every day, different videos. And what I love about that is the prospect has this chance to actually really connect with you, but not without the pressure of actually trying to connect with you on the phone. This is, maybe their second exposure to you, and they take the time, they can go through your blog and really start to get to know about you. And that's what I call the one-sided relationship, because without you even being there, your prospect sees what you want them to see, and they start to build that connection and that trust. And that itself is extremely powerful.
Yeah, and the great thing that I want to mention about this is it's leverage and it's time, right? So you have people that will go to your blog and watch videos that you've done, maybe see some testimonials, read about you, and it's all in their time, right? So you're not spending any time. It's completely passive once it's set up, right? So you're not investing any time in this relationship, but that other person can do their due diligence and do that passively.
Passively, exactly. And I was going to say too, when we go to events and stuff like that, people come up to us all the time and say, oh, I feel like I know you. I've been watching your videos and I've read about your story and I've, been to your blog and everything else. And that, like I said, is very, very powerful because they've not actually even had, let's say, even a personal conversation with us, and yet they already feel like they know us. And psychologically speaking, that's a very, very powerful thing, because if you go back to what we were talking about before, when people sponsor shop and things like that, that's very important. People will always look for that person that they feel comfortable with, that they feel like they can work with. And so that's what a blog does for you. And if you don't have that, if you don't have a place where if you're on the phone with your prospect and afterwards you say, what, I want you to check out a few more things. Here's my blog. Go check that out. Go check out the resources there, and then we'll get back together again. If you don't have that, you really are selling yourself short, because it's an extremely powerful tool. And, even now about engagement and, business transparency and prospects really wanting to do their research, it's even more important now that you have that platform to be able to give them in order to, generate that sale or generate that, lead or have somebody join you.
Exactly. So it's so important that you understand how to do this and set this up. And it could be as simple as someone going to your blog, seeing some pictures, and then they start to build that know, like, and trust, and it happens automatically. Someone you link from Facebook or YouTube and send them over to your blog, and then they don't just see one page. They'll if they're interested, they're going to go and they're going to see multiple pages. So all those create multiple exposures. You've heard the thing about, people need, 12 exposures in order to be able to buy something. Well, this speeds that up, and it allows people to do that in their own time when they don't feel pressured. They don't feel like, someone's calling and being like, hey, you should join the business, and a decision made by someone else, of their own volition, is much more powerful and much more long lasting than one that's made by a slick talking salesman. And so what this does is this builds that kind of real relationship that people can start connecting with you, and you set it up once and never have to do it again. So it's really passive and it's super, super powerful, and that's why I love that.
Exactly. So if I can just say one last thing, and let's talk about this, one of the most powerful things on our own blog was our trip to Paris, right? And our trip to Paris was really, really powerful because at the same time, like Andrew said, people are going through it. There's not any pressure. They're not, Paris. They're not, nobody on the phone is convincing them. They're actually convincing themselves, that this is a good idea. And like Andrew said, that's very powerful. But our trip to Paris and all of these other different pages that we have on our blog, that qualifies as like the dream spinning also. If you've heard anybody in different things where they talk about, how to talk to your prospect, everybody talks about figuring out a person's why, doing that dream spinning. And you can do that all on a blog. A blog, it can be so powerful. All the psychological triggers, they're all there. So if you don't have a blog, you really need to figure out, how are people finding you? What are they seeing about you? Because throughout, for the first 3 episodes that we've done here, you've already understood how important it is to actually have a blog, have a platform for your voice, and have that place where they can build a relationship with you, you can brand yourself, and where people start to feel comfortable with you and they feel that you're approachable and they finally do decide to work with you. So,
and it all starts with you building that one-side relationship on your blog. Guys, we'll see you in episode 4. I think you're really, really going to be excited about what we talk about in the next episode.